Hi, friends and family of the internet. Welcome back, watchers on the wall. Boy, you guys, do I have an amazing video for you today. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone. You may have noticed Sam has been kind of MIA. I've not been feeling that great. In fact, neither has my husband. Quick update. We will be leaving tomorrow night, which is Thursday, to head to New Orleans to get the official report of his CT scan, and we are praying to schedule surgery. What they did find on the CT scan was extremely disturbing. There is a fungus on top of a bacteria in all four of his sinus cavities, a deviated septum, and you can go from there. So we are pretty sure at this point it is what caused the brain aneurysm, and we are praying fervently that the Lord will remove that without the need of surgery. So your continued support and prayers, it means so very much to me. So welcome back to Starkey Farmstead, everybody. My name is Samantha, and I want to talk to you about the newest 2025 trend that was not on my bingo card. Can I get an amen? Look, you guys, 2025 has been off the chain with its insanity. You're going to feel like I'm picking on you, my Black brothers and sisters, but truly I am not. But I'm going to point something out. This year alone, I've seen the trend of Blacks are the true redheads. So if you're redheaded, you must have African American blood in you. I have seen Blacks are the real Hebrews, the Black Israelite movement. I've seen this movement of Blacks are the real Native Americans. And now I'm seeing this, and it's a little disturbing to me. And I'm pretty sure it's going to disturb most of you also. So, with no further to do, let's get into this.
I've been crying because I have been crying. So I'm gonna show y'all this video, and y'all are gonna see why I am crying.
The whole empire is done. It's done. We are remembering. The whole empire is done. We are remembering.
I just need y'all to remember
The whole empire is done.
the mirror and move. So listen, y'all gonna have to bear with me on this video. Listen, I gave a snapshot, and the time that I looked at that video was, I think it was 2222. It was 222 or something. It'll say in this thing. But anyway, it's a message with this confirmation. Listen, the power of Atlantis is within the people. It's wherever we congregate. Listen, family. This is truth through loud. Atlantis is never just a lost city under the sea.
Wow. Read the rest of this. It says, when melanated souls, star seeds, and flame bears come together with intention, we create that Atlantean current wherever we stand. That's why the phrase hits you deep, because your soul remembers being in those gatherings before the fall. Folks, I'm going to break all of this down for you. I really pray that you stay around for this, because I am going to laugh at some of it, but I'm also going to nail it hard spiritually. Because what you are looking at is not an awakening, but a falling away of. In the end times, Jesus warned us that his elect, his children, would fall away from the truth. So when you hear the world's use of it's the great awakening, like we're awakening, we're remembering before the fall of what? They don't even know, right? Like if you don't use the Bible as the cornerstone, if the Bible is not literally what you're building all of your knowledge on, then you are a double-minded man and you are unstable in all of your ways. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, I have seen so many shifts within the Black community just in 2025 that, I mean, come on, friends and family of the internet. We have to stick up for people, but we have to spread the truth. This is out of control. It's out of control. Let me show you some videos that are floating on the internet right now.
You are not an African American. You ain't no goddamn African. You are not from Africa. Nobody in your family's from Africa. You are from right here, this country, and the real name of it is called Tamari. And we are the Tamarikins. That is what our ancestors called themselves. Tamarikins. And I'm going to fix that with my textbook.
The old empire is done. It's done. We are remembering. It all made sense if the Anunnaki became Atlantean, Atlantean became Phoenicians, Phoenicians became the Pharaohs became the Moors became Freeman, the Freeman became the Negro became the color became the Afro-American, the Afro-American became the black is the Atlantea in Turtle Island called America, which was Amorica, which is Old Town Atlantis, which is also ancient Egypt. Which is why they would look like us and why they can travel in and out the ice wall without being detected because they look like common African Americans. The government wants you to think they look different, but they're 6 to 7 feet tall NBA players. That's it. That is all. They look just like us because they are us.
No, you want me to tell you what they are? Y'all, let me tell you what they really are. Let's get deep into this because y'all know I'm not going to let this slide. Why? Because I'm 6% Black, first off. So let's get that out there for all y'all that's going to start crying racism in my comment section because you know I ain't going to put up with it, right? Can I get an amen? Second, my godchild is, I'd say, probably 100% Black, and I don't want that child being told this ignorance. So let's just start with this. Okay, so post-flood, I'm going to call it Akapalu. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Apkallu. We're hybrid beings. The result is that the Akapalu is a term for both fully divine beings before the flood and quasi-divine hybrid beings after the flood. This is precisely how First Enoch uses the term watcher for both the fully divine sons of God who cohabitated with human women, which you can find in the King James Version of the Bible, Genesis 6:1-4, and the spirits of the giant offspring produced by the forbidden union, which is in First Enoch. The former is readily understandable as the watchers who descended to earth were fully divine. The term watcher was applied to the latter because the immaterial nature of the giants, their spirits, were not human, but divine. Consequently, this is why the spirits of dead giants in the Enochian story were considered evil and thus the origin of demons. For many of us Christians, we always assume that fallen angels were the demons. That's where evil spirits come from, but we know that they come from this mixed race of fallen angels sleeping with human, the Nephilim, and you getting these quasi-divine beings. So when they die, they don't have a human spirit. They are not human. Okay? So that is what becomes demons. And they plague mankind for all of eternity. They cause illness. They cause psychosis. They cause misunderstanding. It was these divine fallen angels that brought the technology that they use for things like CERN and to create war. That was never meant for us. It's also where Formicaea was created, right? Think that is what is happening here. I'm hearing the verbiage that is being used in these videos, and I can smell the demonic influence on these people. This is what happens when you don't have a firm understanding of what you believe and you are not covered by the blood and filled with the Holy Spirit, you get this.
America is ancient Atlantis. Stop letting these people lie to y'all. Atlantis was the ancient Greek name for ancient America. This is why they keep telling y'all we ain't got no history over here. Because they're hiding it. They're learning it in their Shriner lodges, etc. They're learning it at these universities where they join these secret societies. Go watch Gilmore Girls if you want a better understanding. If it's not hidden home. This is normal every day for them. They know it's just like parasites living off a host. The Greeks thought Atlantis sunk. Now those were Moors, what you would call black people. They thought Atlantis sunk because we didn't rock with them. We didn't.
Okay, so I'm hearing this a lot too, that the Greeks were Moors, they were black. Wow. Wow. What is happening to the black community? Because, and I know it's not all the black community. I'm not stupid. I live in the black community, and I know that my black friends are not rocking with this insanity. But I can see how they can convince these people to vote Democrat.
And let them come into our territory. Proof of this. Show me one ancient Greek map or one ancient Greek writer that can explain the full size of Africa. You can't, because we did not allow them only but so far in. Because America and Africa was one empire. This is the history they're hiding.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Back with another video. So we have a couple of brothers and sisters in Atlanta claiming Atlanta, it's Atlantis. It's common knowledge that within the Black American community, there is an identity crisis, and this issue has been rising as time unfolds.
There is, right, an identity crisis, especially among the Black community within America, because I think you have to understand this. There are very few people in America, Black Americans, that actually can trace their roots to slavery. Very few. Like it is, I've looked at some reports that claim 60% or more of the current Black people in this country immigrated after slavery. Let that sink in. So the same people crying about slavery, if they would actually do their genealogy, they realize they weren't even here during slavery. That's the first thing. So they believe they come from slavery when they don't. The next thing is, I have heard that redheads, all redheads, must have Black in them if they're redheaded. And that's completely scientifically provably wrong. I've heard that mermaids and the Black people. Now I'm hearing even from the movie Roots, which we're going to go into a little bit further into this video, claiming that, Black Americans' real religion was hoodoo and voodoo and ancestor worship, which is just worshiping demons, right? The Black Hebrew movement, the Israelite, the lost tribe of Israelites, the Native Americans, they're everything but what they actually are. And that is very disturbing. That in itself is a form of psychosis. But this is a spiritual psychosis of something so much darker and deeper. By the way, YouTube does not pay me. They think that my videos are harmful because I will not perpetuate the lie that they want me to continue to perpetuate. I refuse to bow down to it. If you'd like to support our channel, please look in the top of comments. If everybody would send $1 or buy me a cup of coffee or throw a couple of dollars in for a hotel room or gas tomorrow, I would be so very thankful. You guys, 5 months, no paycheck hurts. And don't forget to be looking for our book, Growing Under a Poison Sky. You can get it at Barnes & Nobles, eBay, Walmart, Amazon, and Kindle. Growing Under a Poison Sky. It'll tell you the real story about weather modification and geoengineering, which, by the way, do you guys think that some of this testing that has been done on the Black community, in the prison systems and the military and the mental institutions with syphilis, allowing these people to have syphilis and spread it, with the AIDS virus and spread it. And then all the spraying. I just did that video for you guys, like 5 days ago, about what happened in Missouri, where they were spraying all these children with these toxic chemicals, during the Cold War in the 60s. Do y'all think, because, we brought German scientists to America in the late 40s and 50s and early 60s. And obviously they were all Nazis, every one of them. So they don't like Black people. It's how Planned Parenthood got put in every single Black community. It is how liquor shops got put on every corner, and the lotto ticket, and every corner. Black communities have like all that crap just available everywhere. Right around in a predominantly white Christian community, we're not allowing that in our communities. But Black people have been convinced has to be in their community, right? Just like the plant that blew up in Roseland, that's a 60% Black community. Why was that plant put there, left there for 60 years with no requirement to actually help that community have a working fire department? I don't know. You tell me.
Why? Because of lack of information, denial of identity, inferiority complex, but more so, people trying to create a new identity just so they won't associate themselves with Africa or claim their true heritage. And that is because they don't know their true heritage. They don't know the glories of their ancestors. They don't know the achievements of their ancestors or the land they were taken from. So you will hear brothers say or sisters say, I am from Atlantis. We are the Hebrews. We are Egyptians and all that. The fact is, this is becoming ridiculous.
I mean, basically now they're the Greeks too, and the mermaids.
And it's not just a good look for Black people globally. No. Because a lot of people turn to look onto these brothers and sisters like they're suffering from some mental illness or some identity disorder. Now, I want you to listen to what happened in Atlanta. I want you to listen to their claims and let me know in the comment section. Do you think this is some sort of a mental illness? How could we as a community help these brothers to be able to find themselves and to be able to find their true identity and not only find it, but connect with it? Is it okay?
Well, I would think, if I was answering him, if he and I were having a question, the first thing I would say is that it is statistically provable that, because there's more white people in this country, that more whites are in poverty than Blacks. Statistically, we're much larger in number. Use some of that money that they're spending on their hair, their nails, and them eyelashes. Go get your DNA test done. Start going and looking at records at courthouses like my mother did. Start chasing your roots down. Because like I said, a lot of people would be shocked because they're going to find that they may be part Hispanic. They may have come from Cuba. They may have come from Ecuador. They may not even have African roots. So this another reason why I hate calling Black people African Americans.
To take shots at them, mocking them or making fun of them, because I see a lot of people in the comment section cracking jokes on them. How could what are the solutions you could propose in order for the Black community to be more?
We can skip some of that. Let's start right here. Listen to this guy. This guy's off his rocker. This is how you can just poke holes and make all their boats sink.
There are no cruise ships that go from America to Africa today, but they want us to believe that sailboats with no engines went all the way to Africa and back multiple times in the 1600s.
Did y'all just hear what this man said? Anybody want to explain to this young man that cruise ships do not make trips like that? One would be the amount of time it would take. Two would be the pirates off the African countries that attack cruise ships, oil ships, and everything else. I guess he doesn't realize that there are oil ships that crisscross this continent constantly across the open ocean. That's what he's trying to say, is that there's no ships that cross the ocean. So he stuck to cruise ships because that's easy to look up, and there are no cruise ships. If he wanted to have an honest conversation, he would have said, Name me one type of ship that crosses from America to Africa. That's easy to do. Look it up. There are ships that do that. What he's forgetting is that America, there were white settlements, Europeans, there were, Portuguese and the Spanish were already in America in the 1600s. But the slaves were going from Africa to Europe at that stage, right? Which they do now in boats as they illegally immigrate. So just watch.
You gotta be a fool to believe that. Black Americans are indigenous to this land. Navy ships don't even do that today. I want you to try to find a cruise going from America to Africa today. Let me know if you find one. They brought people halfway across the world to till land that they've never seen before. Why not get the people that were already here to till the land that they've been on for centuries?
I had to stop it. Because, and this is where I had a lady on Facebook get bad the other day when she made the comment about how white people were colonizers to America. I said, well, I found that funny. How can you colonize an entire continent? Folks, listen to me. There were as little as 1 million to the highest report I've ever seen is possibly 15 million indigenous people from the top of Canada all the way into Mexico, okay, in this area in between the 1600s and the 1800s. It was a very small amount. The tribes were usually relatively small. They all spoke different languages. They all had different religions. They were all spaced out where they did not have to deal with the other tribes. You had tribes up north, the main tribes, and tribes down south, and they were so few that they would go their entirety of their lives and never cross on each other's land. America is a huge country. So I guess it would have been like having to go hunt people all over the country to find enough people. The reason they didn't do that with the Native Americans is because the Europeans, the Spanish, the Portuguese, and the Catholic Church brought the slaves to America, not the Americans.
Doesn't that make more sense? Doesn't it make more sense to enslave the indigenous population? We don't come from Africa, never been there.
Black people and Africans don't even look the same. I mean, look at black.
I can't do him. His argument was so stupid. I can't do hers either. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, she rambles for a while. Let's see what this person's got to say.
What many of you don't seem to realize about the Anunnaki race is that when they came here from their realm to Atlantis, that is what signaled the end of the Atlanteans. That is what started the end of Atlantis. In books, they try to tell you that they needed gold from here to fix something in their atmosphere because their planet is about to die. So they came here to get gold. And that wasn't really the true story of what it was. If you think about the movie Avatar,
oh God,
where human beings needed this thing that was directly under Awa, and in order for them to get it, they had was to splice themselves into one of the natives to look like them. That's where Jake come from, and he ended up being inside the clique and infiltrated the whole thing. That's how they had to do it. They was like literally kidnapping 1 or 2 beings here who was like slipping, taking them off planet and go splicing themselves into their avatars and coming back here on planet to learn the ways of the Atlantean people.
You can look at their eyes, people like this, and you can tell that they are not stable. This is obviously, all right, I've noticed that, and I've had family members that had that one crossed eye. So if you've got a crossed eye, do not take the spirit of offense. It's ridiculous. We're adults here. Let's talk about it. But I've noticed that the really off the rocker ones have that more often. Okay. And let's talk about this. They're talking about aliens. Again, I'm going to reiterate, Samantha does not believe in aliens. Samantha believes in fallen angels. I believe in spiritual and physical. The Bible has already told us, and I just read to you guys what he's saying, but seeing because he's not a Bible believer, he's going off this deep end and he's mixing mythology and insanity with biblical truth. And well, I mean, look, guys, people believe that, but then they won't believe in Jesus. You tell me who's right, who's wrong. Atlanta is Atlantis movement claims landlocked Georgian city is lost city in disguise. They are summoning an energy vortex to restore the spirit of Atlantis in the heart of Atlanta. Tell me this is not a spiritual battle. All right. So when you think of the lost city of Atlantis, most people picture the ruins of a once great civilization lying at the bottom of the ocean somewhere, occupied now by fish, kelp, and memories. Whether or not Atlantis actually existed is a source of much scholarly debate, and the mythology has taken on a life of its own through the millennia. But a new movement based in Atlanta, Georgia, is bringing the myth to a new locale. The movement known as Atlanta is Atlantis movement has drawn interest and criticism alike from people who are curious as to what the people who promote it actually believe. Let me tell you what they believe. They believe they got you right where they want you. The movement started by a group called Black Atlanteans starts with the mission statement, history has been rewritten. The truth has been buried, but now it's time to reclaim what is ours. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, man. This is why multiculturalism is so dangerous. We have a shared history here in America. But they don't want you to focus on that, right? They believe it is a they believe it is a vortex, an energy vortex. This is so dangerous. Cannot explain it to you enough. It's not gonna pull it up. Let me find it over here for you guys. Watch this dude. Oh, that's my daddy. Watch this guy.
Atlanta, Georgia is the capital city of the whole realm of Atlantis.
You guys brought me out of retirement. I thought the Rome wasn't real things were bad. I thought that was peak. Thought that was the bottom of the valley we were gonna get to. But no. Now apparently Atlanta is Atlantis. Because why? Let's talk about it. Let's see what he has to say.
That's why they call it Atlanta, Georgia.
Ah, yes, of course. And Rome. Rome is in New York. That's why they call it Rome. And Philadelphia, that wasn't in Anatolia. No, that's in Pennsylvania. And of course, the famed city of Carthage, the enemy of Rome, that was in Missouri. Clearly, all those times in ancient literature where Rome and Carthage were fighting and they talk about, being across the sea from one another, that was referring to the Midwest. I mean, clearly, obviously, all of this was being kept secret from us. And by who? Who would want to shield us from such knowledge about the true location of Atlantis? At this point, he might as well blame the Freemasons.
Now, when you go look at the longitude, latitude of Atlanta, Georgia, where it's aligned, you'll see it's on the 33rd parallel.
I'm gonna scream. I'm going to scream. Now, to be fair, he doesn't blame the Masons for this. He just uses the same number that everybody always uses to say the Masons are responsible. But I just want to really quickly, here's Atlanta down on the 33rd parallel, but it's more towards the 34th than the 33rd. We're not going to get into that, but let's talk about Atlantis. Where do we know Atlantis from? We know it from Plato. Where did Plato say Atlantis was? Plato said Atlantis was about right here, beyond the Pillars of Heracles, which is right here. That's Gibraltar. Gibraltar's the Pillars of Heracles. You want to know what parallel Gibraltar's on? 36th. Never mind that Atlantis is described as being a sea empire with a concentric series of circles around its city. But no, let's ignore literally everything that we have and just go based on word association. That's a great idea.
Atlanta, Georgia is the capital.
I just want to throw out Nebraska's Narnia. All right, let's talk about spiritual psychosis and what's really going on here, folks. Okay. Spiritual psychosis typically involves delusional spiritual beliefs that have no basis in reality. This form of psychosis may also involve additional psychotic symptoms, such as hallucinations, paranoia, personality changes, and confusion. Also, doing drugs. I know this from experience. You smoke a lot of weed, you pop a lot of pills, take a few too many Valium or Xanax, Adderall, get mad at me. I'm just telling you, might as well take meth, right? All of that will lead to this. Understanding spiritual psychosis and how it differs from other types of spiritual experiences may help you determine whether you or someone you love might be showing early signs. So symptoms, it is a mental health crisis. You'll see confusion, paranoia. I'm also going to just point this out. A lot of these people that believe in these far-fetched, insane concepts, like he said, like, I mean, let's really talk about Atlantis. It literally doesn't match Atlanta, Georgia at all. These people only like to be with their kind. They had trouble holding jobs. Why? Nobody wants to have a conversation with you. They're paranoid about everything. They're disorganized. They're delusional. The beliefs they hold have no place in reality. If you look at some of them, they're all wearing like dreadlocks. Like, why? Well, to me, that's a lack of self-care. Okay, I'm just being honest. They don't sleep well, right? They're very hostile. They're very angry. And you can see it in their eyes, man. Like, it is spiritual and it is psychosis altogether. It's a demonic attack. It says common spiritual psychosis beliefs tend to involve ideas about the end of the world, the existence of other dimensions, mystical experiences, and beliefs that one is spiritually superior or born to spiritually heal others. David Icke, that's one of them. But these people, if you listen to them, they talk about melanated skin, like that makes them superior. Look, dude, your own people sold you. White people have done it too. The biggest sellers of slavery right now is the Middle East. You know, Muslims, Indians, human traffickers. I've got a whole video coming up on that. So like, comment, subscribe. Just know this. I don't put up with this nonsense. I'm going to pop back at it because I think too many Christians, like, you think this is me being ugly or mean or picking on. This is me just saying what Jesus would tell you. Just stop, bro. Stop. Let's talk about the Sinner movie, right? The guy that wrote this, it's root work and ancestral rituals, not the name of Jesus, that push back the dark, right? Christianity, when it appears in the movie, is often mocked or rendered powerless. A character in the movie recites the Lord's Prayer, and then the vampire laughs and recites it with him. The movie suggests it's the old ways, passed down from grandmother to granddaughter, hidden in plain sight. Well, that's a line we should not cross. There's no shame in honoring our ancestors or even exploring our history. But for Christian viewers, sinners ask us to cross the line in the Bible that draws boldly. Let no one be found among you who practices divination or sorcery or consults with the dead. Deuteronomy 18:10 or 11. The gospel isn't just another set of rituals. It's the living power of God to save, to heal, and to deliver from every evil. So it says what sinners gets wrong is it confuses cultural memory with spiritual authority. And in doing so, it offers a substitute for the cross. Its heroes seek protection in roots and charms, not the blood of Jesus. Its battles are fought with garlic and not word and prayer. My friend Leslie bought this for my book. She co-authored our book, Growing Under a Poison Sky. It's called Reversing Hermon. And in it, it talks about how the fallen angels, what they brought to the earth that was not meant for you and I. Okay. And I'm not saying that because in Genesis, the Lord tells us, like every root is for food and for healing. Like, every herb, God gives us all of that. It's not what's going on. But it goes on to say that describes wicked deeds in terms that have clear counterparts to the Watcher story. The virtues of roots and herbs, of dyeing and cosmetics, and discoveries of precious materials, love, philtries, hatreds, amours, passions, constraints of love, the bonds of witchcraft, every sorcery and idolatry hateful to God was brought down to us from the fallen angels. And those angels shared it in the bedroom with their human wives, and it was passed down to their children. So this is where you see this. It's heroes seek protection in roots and charms. Now, what you're seeking protection in is fallen angel, demonic, occultist practice that God tells you to stay the heck away from. We're almost done, friends and family. Stay with me because I don't know when another video will go up. We are traveling to New Orleans tomorrow. Again, if you'd like to support our channel, please look in the top of comments, guys. You don't know how much this means to us. And I don't know when YouTube's going to pay me again, but I can tell you that what you send makes a huge difference in my life.
Y'all mother time is up.
Y'all want to play pretend you're black.
It wasn't called Atlanta, it was Atlantis.
We know the truth now.
Your community got a problem.
Identify your starseed type.
We are gods. It's been a magical war the whole time.
Something strange is happening in Atlanta, Georgia. Or should I say, Atlantis? That's right, there's a growing movement, particularly among Black Americans, claiming that modern-day Atlanta is actually the lost city of Atlantis. Not in the metaphorical sense, but quite literally. According to this belief, right, the city sits on the buried remains of an ancient civilization. The people making these claims see themselves as the original Atlanteans, spiritually powerful beings whose memories were erased through colonization or conquest or light magic. Now they are reawakening their divine identity. So I'm going to try and approach this with an open mind, an open third eye, right? And explore where this theory originates, what it reveals about our culture, identity, and whether there's any truth hidden behind the surface. Or Atlanta. We'll also talk about some other spiritual beliefs, such as the rise of the star seeds and galactic ancestry, particularly the way white creators construct their own starseed lineages, what it really means when people start rewriting their past in an attempt to reclaim power, purpose, or belonging. But before we start, make sure you are subscribed. Let's begin with the power of Atlantis is within the people. It's wherever we congregate.
Atlanta is Atlantis. Atlanta is Atlantis. Atlanta is Atlantis. We are remembering the whole empire.
The power of Atlantis is within the people. It's wherever we congregate. Listen, family.
Let's put down the crystals for a second and start with the basics, okay? So Atlantis is a mythical lost civilization mentioned by Greek philosopher Plato. It wasn't a real place, all right? In the story, the people of Atlantis grew greedy, prideful, and corrupt. As punishment, the gods destroyed the entire civilization by sinking it under the ocean. Okay, it doesn't exist, though. The story is a warning about what happens when
So I'll stop her here. I will link all of this in the description of the video. I don't know how I feel about Atlantis. I'll just be honest. I know that the entirety of the world was flooded. We've had the Tower of Babel. It's in the Bible. We know that in this book that I'm reading, that my friend gave me for my birthday, Reversing Hermon, Enoch, the Watchers, and the Forgotten Mission of Jesus Christ, it talks about how they brought down technology before the flood. They shared that technology, how to craft weapons, how to make war, and some of them had heads like birds and flew. So we've got that mixed animal and human. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot there. So could Atlanta have been real and God flooded it? Yeah. Yep. He could have. Why do I think that Black people and a lot of white people are going off on this seed child and Jesus has already come and we're living through tribulation? Because you don't know your Bible. And it is worse than that. You're not saved. It's just very concerning. It's very concerning.
Empires become arrogant and self-indulgent. Fast forward to now, and people are treating it like an origin story.
A group of black people in Atlanta, Federal Foundation of Black Atlanteans or something like that. They're claiming that Atlanta used to be Atlantis, the underwater city. Yep, they saw that the two words are kind of similar, so now they're claiming that they're Atlanteans. I could have sworn y'all was claiming to be Native American and Hebrew. Oh, and don't forget when y'all claim to be samurais and Egyptians, bro. Like, there's people gathering in Atlanta with copper crosses and copper energy mines talking about Atlanta is Atlantis, hoping that they can gather all their energy to make Atlantis rise or something.
Exactly. At this point, the identity rotation has less to do with ancestry and more to do with
Hey, you guys remember when I talked about doing like spiritual maps of cities? Somebody, some amazing person, Kelly, Leslie, one of you people that have been here for a while that are still watching right now, would you please write down spiritual psychosis, copper, idolatry, symbolism for Atlanta? Because I think maybe, because you know what I'm saying, like you could put modern day Sodom and Gomorrah would definitely be like Portland, Oregon, would be like Seattle, Washington, would be like cities in California, San Francisco, right? A lot of the transgender ideology, a lot of the homosexual LGBTQ plus 12,000, a lot of that goes on over there. So we know that that's what would line up with Sodom and Gomorrah. But there are places in the Bible where they talked about like witchcraft was like a big deal. And I think that's what you're getting in Atlanta. And I honestly believe the movie Sinners probably prompted and encouraged this. See, Satan is extremely smart. He's so smart, but he's also so stupid because he always overplays his hand. And he lines things up, and then he uses Hollywood to put out these ridiculous movies, and people sit and watch them. I literally watched a video today because I'm extremely sick. I'm literally running fever right now. And I was laying in bed and I was watching videos on YouTube. And there's a doctor who lost her license because she was TikToking her surgeries. And people said, I chose her as my doctor because I saw her on TikTok and I felt so comfortable with her vibe. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the place we live in the world right now. If somebody sees you on social media saying something and you just throw in some big words, well, they just assume that what you're saying is real.
Cosplay. It's not about, tracing lineage. It's about making one up. People are starving for identity, something that feels powerful, ancient, untouchable, and I get that. But what they're grasping for here isn't history. It's made up, and it's very concerning that so many people actually believe this, that Atlanta is Atlantis because they sound similar.
Have you ever thought you believed something stupid? There's a group of people online right now, and people gathering in person, who think that the ancient city of Atlantis was actually in Atlanta, Georgia, and that black people were its inhabitants, and that they're creating an energy vortex by gathering together, and they are going to resummon the spirit of Atlantis.
The people that showed up to chant that, they can vote. Let's think about that for a second.
And that they are the ancient Atlanteans that the world forgot.
It's so transparent that it is a mockery of what Atlantis already is, because Atlantis has not sunk, but it is rising into what it is today, that you can see through electricity, meaning that your energy is being used and siphoned in the motherboard. In order for gematria to even work and to align itself up, it has to be siphoned and it has to be valued through a numerical value that these Jesuits or these higher orders are able to harvest within our energy, because we are the batteries funding their society. Because without these buildings being able to be built, because how is a building when it's already built?
Somebody said beautiful breakdown.
What? They genuinely believe they've uncovered some profound spiritual truth, and the phrase, we are the forgotten Atlanteans, is being said with complete seriousness. But underneath that conviction is a deeper need for, again, identity, right? Significance, for belonging. I understand, but when people feel disconnected also from their roots, it's tempting to rewrite themselves into the center of a myth. Not because they care necessarily about Atlantis, but because they want to feel chosen. They want to matter. They want to feel special, and that's human. Okay. okay? But it's also why it's so important to find pride in your actual country, not in a fabricated ancient empire, but in the real place you live. The sense of unity, of shared national identity is what holds a country together. We are all Americans. It doesn't mean our country's perfect, but it does mean we're in it together, and people risk their lives every single day to come here because, despite its flaws, America offers freedom, opportunity, and the ability to reinvent yourself. That is powerful. And
yet they spend their time reinventing themselves into a group of mythical or very long gone civilization. This is where we're at in our country, friends and family. Spiritual psychosis, AI psychosis, mental health spiraling. Do you know what all of these people need? They need Jesus. Look, I love a good story and I love a good rabbit hole. And all of you that watch me and have seen me before should know that. But I cannot stand when someone is being taken advantage of because they lack knowledge and all they really need is Jesus. You want to reinvent yourself and become a new creation in Christ. You don't have to fake it. You do not have to be Egyptian, Roman, samurais, Native Americans, redheads, mermaids, and now Atlanteans. You can just be you. That's another reason I hate some of the things that they're teaching these children, that white people are oppressors and Black people are victims. This is the result of that, this victimhood. It leaves them open to just wander around, never becoming what God created them to be. Never having the opportunity. No, it's not having the opportunities. It's not using and applying the gifts that the Lord has given them. Nobody's life is a walk in the park. Even rich people have serious issues. My beloved aunt used to say to me, God rest her soul, Samantha, if money can fix it, it is not a problem. I never understood what she meant until now. Really understood it. Money, all the money in the world is not going to remove that aneurysm from my husband's brain or make him feel better. He has steadily worked since they found this aneurysm. Today he called me at 10:30. He's like, I can't go another step. I said, oh, God bless you. You come home. You come home. No sick days, no nothing. It's okay. God has us. Then I see people on food stamps with nice tennis shoes, driving nice cars and nice cell phones, wanting to be Atlanteans. You live in your little bubble. I'm going to pop it. It's not healthy. It's not stable. These people vote. They vote. They vote in elections. And you want to know why we have Muslims taking over this country? It is why so many Black people align themselves with the Muslim religion. You know why? Because it gives men a sense of power. The same people that cried about slavery would just like that, enslave all the women in their family under burqas, not allow them out of the house without permission. They love it. That's why Black people sold Black people first, because that's in them. They want to say that white people and slavery and that they're oppressors. Really, we're not. All the countries that we went to, we sailed to, we brought technology, we brought advancement, we brought industry, medicine, knowledge. Look at the opposite of what is happening today. The people that are immigrating now are the brown and Black people. What are they bringing? Yeah, think on that one. Love you guys so much. Say a prayer. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll try to be on Friday to let you know what the ENT and the neurosurgeon says about Stephen.